Hi everybody, it is rainy and dark today. I'm in the van, thought I'd do a few projects in here, got the screens up on the windows and everything. But before I start my projects, I thought I would tell you about this really amazing book that I'm reading. The name of the book is called Lifespan: Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to, by David Sinclair, PhD. Dr. Sinclair is a Harvard Medical School scientist and Time magazine's most influential people list also. Longevity and aging is becoming more and more of a concern in the world because of baby boomers. Baby boomers are people born after World War II and before the 60s, and it's the largest demographic group right now. The main premise of the book is that aging is a disease. That's the new theory that Dr. Sinclair is trying to get across. That it's a disease and it is not inevitable. This passage is on page 81. I believe that aging is a disease. I believe it is treatable. I believe we can treat it within our lifetimes. And in doing so, I believe everything we know about human health will be fundamentally changed. And if that's the case, that means that our bodies are more like a house that can be repaired all the time. For example, if you have a leaky roof, you can either put a bucket under the leak, or you can actually fix the roof, or repair the roof as best as possible. And I think that in today's world, there are so many techniques and supplements and ideas that you could certainly alleviate many of the aging processes. The first part of the book talks a lot about scientific parts of aging, the cellular part of it, the different things that happen during aging, and it is pretty interesting. If you're not a scientist type person, you can go right ahead to the second half of the book, where he talks about his ideas about how to correct this disease of aging. This discussion might hit a nerve with some people. They feel that aging, they themselves are aging. We all are aging at this point until we can discover the reversal of aging. But some people are decaying more than others, and I think that that would hit a nerve with people who have advanced aging and who are frustrated with it. However, from what I've been seeing and what I've been reading, there are ways to alleviate it and reverse it. So if this is touching a nerve with you, I would urge you to go and read about it and maybe adopt some of these ideas for yourself. Here is a list of ideas that he writes that do not require money. Things such as sleep being the number one thing. Getting a full 8 hours of sleep, really solid sleep. If you have to sleep alone, then do it. Just make sure you get that good sleep. Try to keep your blood sugar a little on the lower side. And he suggests something called intermittent fasting, which is simply after your dinner, don't eat anything until breakfast. That gives you a full 12 hours for your digestive system to rest. Or if some people move all their meals to the afternoon and then they have a 16-hour rest. Personally, I would have trouble with that, but I don't have trouble going from after dinner all the way to breakfast, so maybe you can do that too. The other things are exercise and movement. Don't smoke. Keep your body weight with a BMI, body mass index. If you're not familiar with that, there is a range of body fat that a person should have or not have that's healthy, considered healthy, and that you can look up, called BMI. Cold therapy, believe it or not. So all you Northeasterners, you're going to be okay. But things like plunging your hands in cold water or plunging your face in cold water. And just quickly, a few other ideas. Avoid excessive sun, and don't use microwave plastics. Don't get that plastic in there. And also eat plant-based. If you can reduce your animal products that you eat, try to eat mostly plant-based and plant-based proteins. Something that he talks about that does cost money is a supplement. And the supplement is called NMN. Nancy, Mary, Nancy. NMN. It is a little trendy. People are wondering about it. There aren't these huge studies about it yet. However, NMN is what you need as a precursor to repair your cells. So if you can ingest some NMN, that your cells will start to repair. And the author does take the NMN, his father takes NMN, and I've actually heard about it being taken by other longevity specialists. Here's what the author says he does. He takes 1,000 milligrams of NMN every morning, along with 1 gram of resveratrol into his yogurt and 1 gram of metformin. Metformin is a prescription blood sugar drug, I believe, for diabetics. I guess he must get it from his doctor. I don't know that much about it. Then he takes a daily dose of vitamin D, vitamin K, and some aspirin. Sugar, bread, and pasta intake low as possible. No desserts. Try to skip 1 meal a day, like we were talking about, the intermittent fasting. And then every few months he has blood work done to analyze biomarkers. And if any of those biomarkers are not optimal, he will moderate them with food or exercise. And this is a little disclaimer that I was very glad to read, actually. It says that he doesn't endorse or test supplements. He doesn't sell them or anything else. If all of this is true, and we can either reverse aging or slow aging down, I think there's some important moral questions that need to be looked at. One of them is, what's going to happen to the population level? If people are living to 150 to 200 years old, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Another question is, if we do start a program of anti-aging with the NMN and the other supplements that he suggests, and suddenly we decide we don't want to do that treatment plan anymore, is that the same as letting go of life? If you're 150 years old and you don't want to use those supplements anymore, or you can't get those supplements anymore? And then that leads us to the question about affordability. Will this become an elite phenomenon? The elite wealthy will live to be 200, 300 years old. And if you can't afford that, sorry, Charlie. A further question would be, if you live to be 150 and 200 years old, how does that affect you psychologically? We know that over, say, a 100-year period, there's a lot of social changes, a lot of political changes, personal changes. Is that something that our psychology can handle? Is that what kind of tools would we have to develop in order to be able to accept the changes or adapt to the changes if we live a long life? I haven't gathered that anyone in this longevity movement is really trying to live forever. I'm not sure that everyone wants to do that. I think what's happening is that people just want to live a healthy life, and if they happen to live longer, that's great. I would be very interested in what you think about this and what you have to say, because I think it's almost an urgent topic at this point. People, again, the baby boomers are now between 65, 80, around in there. Most of them are retired, and as we've already been hearing, the nursing homes and hospitals and things like that are starting to get crowded because of it. So I think it's an important issue. I also think that aging process is painful and discouraging and depressing, and I think that we should be focusing on changing it. So tell me what you think about this in the comments. I'd love to have a full-fledged conversation with you, and in the meantime, please stay healthy.